Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everybody. So today we will discuss about microbial food spoilage. Okay, so what is microbial food spoilage? What is food spoilage basically? It is a change of food that undergoes, that makes it unfit to be eaten. So around a quarter of world food supply is lost to spoilage by microbes and insects. So what we can do to outwit the microbes and to ensure that we can consume the food before they do. So for example, like this tomato, you can see that it's rotten, right? Unfit to be eaten basically. Okay. So food based on the rate of spoilage, you can see here it can be categorized in highly perishable, semi-perishable, and stable food. Okay, so it depends on what defines each group. It basically based on the water content. Okay, you can see here the wet food. We have meat, fruit, milk, vegetables, eggs, and potato and nuts, semi-perishable. And for the dry food, we have rice, flour, and dry beans. Okay, for spoilage by microbe, although microbes are useful for the production of some food, they can also be the culprits in the spoilage of foods. This microbe must be introduced into the food product. After the introduction, environmental condition must be appropriate for the microbes to grow. This includes temperature, time, and water availability. If we introduce microbe to, for example, rice, which is a stable food, lambat sikit lah dia nak rosak. Okay, maybe the increment of dengan adanya the increase of water availability tu, dia akan rosak. Okay. Okay, spoilage by microbes. Sambungan. The spoilage occur either by the use of food by the microbes for growth or by release of byproduct from the microbes during lifespans or after they die. Bacteria usually cause the faster spoilage of food because of their shorter reproduction times. They are followed by yeast and molds, and however, if conditions are not favorable for bacterial growth, yeast and molds may dominate the spoilage. For example, bread. Okay, bread. Kita tengok bila dah when we have bread, the roti yang rosak yang tak boleh makan tu selalunya akan ada molds. Akan ada molds. Dia tak ada bakteria lah basically sebab condition is favorable for the yeast molds to grow. Okay, to dominate the spoilage. Okay, spoilage by microbes continue again. It is based on a number of microbes that are present on the food products. For most products, the level of microbes that constitute spoilage is approximately 10 to the power of 7 microbes per gram of solid material, and in some cases per square centimeter. For liquid products, this level is counted per milliliter of products. So this level of microbe will usually produce a visible color change of the product, or there will be odor from byproduct of the microbes. There are specific organisms that have been associated with spoilage in most foods produced today. For example, we have psychotropes, organisms that can grow at low temperature. There are many different types of psychotropes, including those which are aerobic, anaerobic, facultative in their use of oxygen. Acidophiles, these microbes are capable of growing in acidic condition that would kill most organisms. They are responsible for the spoilage of food that are packed in acidic environment. For example, macam pickles, mayonnaise, certain fruit juice lah basically. And then we have thermophiles. These organisms are capable of growth in high temperature. They can easily spoil food that are kept warm for extended period of time, such as soup. Okay, so selalunya sup kita akan panaskan so that we can eat it in basically hot soup lah, So thermophiles ni ada dekat dalam makanan, for example yang macam tadi lah, sup. Okay, why food spoils? So basically we have a physical change of the food. Contoh macam tomato bila you jatuhkan tomato, dia akan lebam. For example, lebam. So dia lebam tu dia akan menyebabkan dia mudah rosak. Okay. And then it can, for example, loss of moisture, chemical change, for example, oxidation, and growth and activity of microorganism. Okay, so we have agent of disease and agent of food spoilage. What I want to do is write in your own notes agent of disease and agent of food spoilage. You can search this in the internet, okay? For microorganism and growth and food, sorry. And then microbial growth introduce alteration in food. It can be in appearance, smell, taste, nutritional content. Changes not necessarily harmful, but each food is a unique microbial environment. So it has unique spoilage agent. For example, microbial food spoilage dekat bread tak sama dengan microbial food spoilage dekat susu, because of the unique environment of the food itself. Kita tahu bahawa roti ni dia kering, tak ada air, but milk contain lot of water. So it is unique to that spoilage agent. Okay. And the contributing factors such as warmth can speed up the chemical reaction and encourage growth of microorganism. And then exposure to air leads to oxidation of the food tadi. Okay. And then moisture, too little moisture causes fresh food to dry out, so dia kering. For example, strawberry lah, basically dia banyak air, so dia kering. Too much moisture leads to growth of microorganism. Light may destroy light-sensitive vitamins such as vitamin C. That's why vitamin C kita selalu pack. Kalau you perasan, botol dia tu kita letak dia dalam botol yang warna kuning ataupun blank botol, sebab nak elak daripada vitamin C destroyed by the light. Okay, physical damage can make food spoil faster. Macam tadi lah contoh, saya bagi contoh tomato yang jatuh tadi. And then two main factors of food spoilage, we have natural decay of food, contamination by microorganism. Food susceptible to food spoilage, which is perishable food that contain large amount of water. So we can thaw the food, open can, and reconstitute dried food. Okay. So we move on to natural decay, cause of food spoilage. It can be caused by moisture loss, which is respiration in food and vegetables, evaporation in meat, poultry, and seafood, enzymatic action, oxidation, browning. For example, apple bila you gigit ke, you nak simpan balik, you nampak ada browning. Sebab dia ada browning agent dekat dalam apple tu. So kadang-kadang ripening, masak macam pisang lah basically. Pisang ripening, dia jadi lembik. Okay. So we have bacteria, molds, and yeast. So bacteria main cause of food spoilage, grow best between 20 to 40 degrees Celsius, multiply rapidly, thrive in moisture-rich condition, needs food to grow and multiply, destroyed by heat and acidic food. Growth is inhibited by high salt, sugar and acid content. For example, kita buat ikan masin, apa lagi salai, daging salai. Okay, molds, a fuzzy colored mass that grow from spores in the air, grow well between 20 to 40 degrees Celsius, thrive in moisture-rich condition, grow in wide range of food, especially meat, cheese, sweet food, produce toxin called mycotoxin, grows is inhibited by acidic condition and heating, not destroyed easily by heat. Yeast, a tiny single cell mold and multiply by budding, spoil the taste of food and makes it unacceptable to eat, requires warmth to grow, thrive in moisture-rich condition, grow well in sugary foods, become inactive when cold, destroyed by heat, inhibited by high heat concentration, and used in making fermented product. Okay, how microbes ni get into our food? So basically, for example, kita ada pet. Kita pegang pet, kita handle makanan. So that is how microbes get into our food. And then we clean our utensil tak berapa betul lah. So they can get into our food as well. Dirty hands after gardening. And then kita handle cross-contamination of food. For example, sebelum ni kita dah handle daging, ayam. And then after that, kita handle sayur pula. So, tanpa basuh tangan. So, microbe can get to our food by cross-contamination. And then, raw food. Contoh kita, tanam sendiri kita punya sayur. And then, kita petik sayur tu. Kena tanah. Macam salad lah, basically salad. Kita petik, kita tak basuh. Kita terus makan. So that can be the source of microbes juga. Okay. And then of course lah flu. Kita handle makanan, berarti kita bersin kat makanan tu. So can transfer the microbes, the flu microbes to the virus into the food. Kan? Okay. And then we have food enzyme. All foods from living tissue have enzymes. Most of these enzymes will survive harvest or slaughter. At the time of harvest or slaughter, enzymes that control digestion and respiration process uncontrolled and cause tissue damage. Some of the post-harvest enzymatic reaction are actually desirable, as it is the ripening of tomatoes and the aging of tenderizing of beef. Enzyme action can be controlled by heat, chemical, and radiation. And then we have heat and cold. Normal harvest temperature range from 10 to 30 degrees Celsius. The higher temperature, the faster biochemical reaction. For example, kalau compare UK dengan Malaysia, for example lah basically. So kalau kita biochemical reaction akan lebih cepat berlaku di Malaysia banding dengan UK. So in fact, the rate of chemical reaction doubles with each 10 degree rise in temperature. On the other hand, sub-freezing temperature damage tissue. For example kita ada seekor ayam, daging ayam, kita letak dalam freezer, and then kita keluarkan, and then kita letak balik, and then kita keluarkan. So the sub-freezing temperature tu akan damage tissue. Why? Because bila kita letak dalam tu, kristal air tu akan membentuk kristal dan akan memecahkan tisu tu. Okay? So dia akan so bila you bawa keluar balik, air tu akan cair balik. And then bila you masukkan balik semula dekat dalam freezer, dia akan bentuk kristal and then penetrate into the tissue again. So akan jadi mushy lah basically. So cold temperature may also cause discoloration, change the texture break and emulsion and the denation protein. Chilling can injure the tissue and fruits as well. And then we have oxygen. Chemical oxidation reaction can destroy vitamin, especially A and C, and alter the food color and cause of flavor and promote the growth of molds. Okay, milk spoilage for example unpasteurized milk. So we have yang ni kena faham betul-betul So we have, like say we have unpasteurized milk. We have unpasteurized milk. Okay, and then in the milk we have bacteria, like bacteria of the milk, bacteria dekat dalam milk tu, lactobacillus species, streptococcus species. So bila kita tak buat apa-apa, milk spoilage ni dia bacteria tu akan grow dalam milk tu. Okay, after the growth of the bacteria will use apa tadi? Lactase kan? Dia akan guna lactase and akan produce lactic acid. So the pH will be reduced. Okay, then it will change in bacterial population. Further pH rise and much more lactic acid continues until all sugar depleted, and then yeast and mold will dominate and will use the lactic acid for growth, and then the pH will rise again, allowing further bacterial growth. Bacteria will use protein as major nutrient and will produce primary amine product so jadi smelly lah bila dibusuk susu tu. Okay, yang ni kalau tak faham boleh tanya saya lagi dekat dalam WhatsApp group boleh. And then okay, food deterioration and its cause. Main idea, what is food deterioration and how can food science minimize its effect? So we have food deterioration includes changes in organoleptic quality, food safety, aesthetic appeal, color, texture, flavor to some degree. All food will undergo deterioration after harvest. The role of food science is to minimize negative changes as much as possible so that we can we can prolong the lifespan of the food tadi, supaya kita boleh makan dengan kita boleh berjimat dan save banyak lah in handling food. Okay. And then we have deterioration occur when the food is consumed that contain a chemical toxic to human. Staphylococcus aureus and Clostridium botulinum produce toxin. Molds in food produce mycotoxin like aflatoxin, and they are not destroyed by heat. Insect damage can be minor, but this wound can the tissue and additional damage additional damage by microorganisms. So dia ada couple lah basically. Insect akan makan sikit, bila ada luka kat situ dekat makanan tu, so akan boleh jadi infection by microorganism lah. So control by insect include pesticide, inert atmosphere and cold storage. Okay, so we have 3 categories of food deterioration. We have physical, chemical and biological. Factors that cause food deterioration, we have light, cold, heat, oxygen, moisture, dryness, other types of radiation, enzyme, microorganism, time, industrial contaminants, and microorganisms such as insect, mice, and so on. Okay, shelf life and dating of food. There is a time limit for the usefulness of all foods. This time limit depends on the type of food, the storage condition, and other factors. If food is held about 21 degrees Celsius, its useful life varies as shown and in table 1. Kita tengok table 1 So ni sekiranya dekat 21 degrees Celsius lah So meat 1 to 2 days, fish 1 to 2 days, poultry 1 to 2 days, dried or smoked meat setahun, fruit 1 to 7 days, leafy vegetables 1 to 2 days, root crops 7 to 20 days, and dried seed we have more than a year lah basically sebab okay, all of the food ni depends on what again? Depends on the water content dia, water content dia. So shelf life and dating of food. Shelf life is the time required for a food product to reach unacceptable quality. This length of time depends on the food item, table 1, the processing method, packaging and storage condition. Food manufacturers put code dates on their products. Back date is the date of manufacture. The date of display is called display date, and the sell by date is the last day to sell. Some foods have a best use by date or last date by maximum quality. The expiration date indicates when the food is no longer acceptable. So I want you to differentiate between best before and best use by date. What is different between best before and best use by date? Okay? Apa beza dua tu? Okay? I think that's all from me for today. I hope that you can understand the slide. And thank you for listening. Okay, bye.